should be answered. Yesterday, or sorry, Friday, there was actually a Collingwood Youth Summit that happened where young people, university age, college age, got together and talked about a lot of issues, including post-secondary education. And two things really kind of struck out. Number one was, what is the goal of post-secondary education, whether it be college or university? At the end of the day, what is the point of it? One of it was jobs, and I think that maybe one of you or three of you can touch on why is it that colleges seem to be doing a better job at saying, come into our school, as soon as you're done, we're going to get you a job. It seems like there's more of that link versus when you go to university, you come out and you don't have a job. And there's no sort of relationship there where it says you spent $25,000 and if you don't have a job, oh well, too bad. Whereas in a college, they have sort of more of a responsibility to try to say, we're trying to gear you into this field, or we're literally trying to walk you into a certain role. And maybe do universities have more of a role to play there in terms of guiding students into jobs? And then the second question I had was about the speed of today's world. University degrees before, 4 years, and then you go to law school for another 4 years, and all of those systems worked then because information, you couldn't get at it as quickly as we can now. So now that we have the ability to access information at such a rapid pace, why are we still spending 8 years in university when a lot of the students were saying they can get it done in 6?
Who wants to try that one?
I can take the first part. I probably disagree with some of your premises, but agree with one. Universities should really can do more in guiding students. So where probably we disagree, I'm not quite sure that we do, but I'm reading between the lines. I don't believe that the university education's primary goal is to prepare people for jobs. It's to educate, and that leads to jobs and other things. Second one, I'll disagree with you, the speeding up. My belief is that yes, there's an explosion of knowledge, lots of information is available, but because of this explosion of knowledge, because the world has become so complex, we actually need more education, not less. So as a result, cutting down from 6 years to whatever the number of years is not the way to go. But if your suggestion is there are different stages of learning, that learning doesn't stop with a 4-year university degree or 6 years university education, then we probably can agree. But I don't think the solution is to cut down the number of years one spends at the university.
I'd just like to maybe start my comment on that one. I think we can be more efficient. I don't think the goal is to sort of necessarily cut down what is required to really prepare someone. I don't think anyone of us would want to be looked after by a doctor who's taken a significant shortcut in the number of years they need to be trained to be proficient in their fields. However, I do think that we have some unnecessary overlap now. As I understand it, with the move in Europe with the Bologna system and the move to 3-year, really the standard being 3-year BAs, I think they've cut out, some of the breadth courses, and you can argue whether or not that's good or bad. But I think they're at the point now they're actually starting to take a look at if those people after 3-year BA have focused on very specific courses in engineering or mathematics or whatever technology, and they go on, a lot of people actually focus their studies at a master's level. The master's level studies tend not to be quite as broad. And those people are being just as successful, if not more so, because they've been trained in a concentrated way. They take that on. It doesn't mean that they don't have other opportunities to increase their breadth and their knowledge. And I would never argue that we should try and take that away. But I do feel we could be a lot more efficient, and I think our lack of a system right now is precluding us from doing so. And so then going back to your first point, I mean, our colleges are about applied education, and that's why we link so closely to jobs. And so that's the only real thing I can comment on. That is part of our mandate. But what would be great to see is a little bit more of that system that recognizes the continuity and tries to link both together a little bit more effectively. And I think that's why right now 17% of our students I know at George Brown College already have a university degree, and they come for a 1-year graduate certificate, which is very focused on a particular type of function and knowledge, and they do that because they've now decided that that's the field that they want to work in, and after that concentrated year of studies in that field, they move on to get jobs in that discipline. Do you want to comment?
The only other comment that I would make is that quite often we're challenged by the data and the perception of data rather than the reality of it. If you look at the employment data of universities, it's pretty darn good. It's not people are unemployed. I think it's more to the point that Anne said. If there was 4 years and then you had to go to you moved to a college for a year or two in a professional program, I think it's fair to ask the students to say, isn't there a way that the breadth courses or the courses in preparation could have not been done together to cut out a year? I think that's a legitimate question. I think to Amit's point about the reason we are here, I absolutely agree. And part of the reason many students go to university is to explore. They are uncertain of what they want to do as they leave high school. Ryerson is a particular case that is a very applied university where there's a lot more of, call it, direction and relevance to degree and professional education. I guess the question could be asked, should the province have another 1 or 2 Ryersons? That's not too far off the question that I asked, if you like, should we have more math, engineering, and science? So I think there is somewhat of a tie between your question and my first recommendation.
Thank you.
I'm Marian Archbold from